This lesson is going to be the first of a 4-part series on major key signatures. There is nothing more important than knowing your major key signatures. Later on, we're going to talk about intervals and chords and modes and minor keys and all that. And if you know your major key signatures, it makes everything so much simpler. So stop everything, learn these. This is the most important thing for you to learn, okay? So on this series, I'm going to talk about the order of sharps and flats and how those work. And the second part, we're going to talk about how to figure out all your flat scales. Then we're going to figure out all your sharp scales in the third. And then I'm just going to give some helpful tidbits at the very end. So we're going to start right now with the order of sharps and flats. So let's talk about flats first. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. That is what you need to memorize. Super important. By the way, also, I have a sheet for this. If you go to maxtutorials.com, I have the sheet for you to print out. It's going to look like this. And right here, you can see I have the B, E, A, D, G, C, F, and I have a lot of stuff on here. In fact, if you go down to the very bottom here, not the very bottom, but close to it, you're going to see that I have all of the major key signatures written out with how many sharps and flats they are. Honestly, just memorize that. If you're good with flashcards or quizzing your friends, just do this, learn them, and you're done. You need to know them super quick. B flat is 2 flats. E is 4 sharps. G flat is going to be 6 flats. And just know them super quick. But anyways, let's go back to the board. Okay? So right here, a lot of people think about this as bead and greatest common factor, because you usually learn that in math. So this is your order of flats. And right here, going the other way, would be your order of sharps. A lot of times piano players and string players will learn it this way, and a lot of times the wind players will learn it this way. So the order of sharps, fat cats go down alleys eating burritos or birds or whatever. Some of my older students come up with their own little things, which maybe we won't share. But whatever you need to do to remember this order, either the sharps this way, flats this way, learn it, okay? What does that mean? Well, that means that if I have a key with 3 flats, it's going to be B, E, and A. If it has 5 flats, B, E, A, D, G. If it has 1 flat, it has to be B, okay? You're not going to get a major scale that has 2 flats and it's E and C. It just doesn't exist. I mean, they can exist, but it's not a major scale, okay? So those aren't part of your major key signatures. Same thing with sharps. If I have 3 sharps, it's F, C, and G. It won't be C, A, and B. That's impossible. 2 sharps, F, C. 4 sharps, F, C, G, D. 6 sharps, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Okay? And we like to say them in that order just to kind of get used to that. So that's the order of sharps and flats. That's a super important thing for you to know. Okay? But like I said, if you just go to the sheet, that's all you need to learn is what they are. So now you know that when we learn that, say, A is 3 sharps, that's great. But it doesn't matter unless you know that those 3 sharps are going to be F, C, and G. If you know that the key of A flat has 4 flats, well, that's great, but it really doesn't matter unless you know that those 4 flats are going to be B, E, A, and D. So there's your order of flats. Go on to Series 2, where you're going to learn a lot more about the flat scales and how those all work. Take care.